So you're sitting there minding your own business and bam, another supposed expert gets a big platform for an anti-transgender hit piece. And you're wondering, what the? You see the New York Times dumping transgender writers and platforming cisgender anti-trans political authors. And you wonder, what's going on? The answer, unfortunately, is quite clear. The dishonest and slanted nonsense is bought and paid for. A couple of billionaires, one of whom is very upset that his oldest child has come out as trans, well, those billionaires are spending lots of money to fund the publication of documents that try to justify, among other things, laws causing trouble, but which, when you do the fact-checking, turn out to be as phony as Trump's claims that the 2020 election was stolen. They are just nonsense. And today's example in the New York Times, well, the Times published a nearly fact-free screed by a longtime anti-trans activist by the name of Jesse Singal. Singal, as so many of his kind do, falsely claims that European countries are backing away from gender-affirming care. The opposite is actually true. Last March, 26 medical organizations all across Europe set out guidelines that support gender-affirming care. England, where the politicians have replaced doctors in drafting an oft-cited document that is known as the Cass Review, has seen that review totally debunked due to the fact that it, too, was drafted by politicians who reviewed anti-transgender talking points and ignored actual scientific studies that showed that gender-affirming care is effective, it is safe, and it leads to happier, rather than dead, trans people. But that didn't stop Singal. He points to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, which recently put out not a scientific study, but a position paper, one so lacking in medical support that no doctors signed it. In fact, the task force that the society had put together that had been working for months to review the subject of gender-affirming surgeries didn't even know about it before the document was published. It turns out that a rich Trump-affiliated donor ignored the experts and had the paper put out in the society's name without so much as a single signatory. Of course, the Trumpers are now touting this latest political document, while the plastic surgeons task force members have signed a letter, an open letter saying, hey, we didn't do this. Essentially, what? Let me get real. I'm a parent, and I'm transgender. And I know there isn't a parent, myself included, who thinks when they're watching their babies grow up, thinks, oh, I really hope that child is going to be trans. And that doesn't happen. It's a shock to any parent when a child comes out. But remember, whether you're cisgender or transgender, the rule is the same. You are not a bad parent if you have a transgender child. You're a bad parent if you deny the reality that you have a trans child, if you lose that transgender child. And for the politicians and pseudo-religious leaders who would have you believe otherwise, I'd stake my lived experience and that of the millions of trans people before me against any of theirs.